Hello, and welcome to the SPANNFLOWER Channel. I am SPANNFLOWER, and this is the SPANNFLOWER Report. I hope you all are having a great day today. We have a lot to get to and a little time to get to it. So let me just say, happy Super Bowl Sunday to all of you all that will be watching the Super Bowl today. Big ups to both of the teams that are going to be playing today. My team did not make it, so anyway, let me get my glasses so I can see you all a little better. Y'all can see me. All right, so let's get to it. Firstly, let me just say thank you all that took the time to view the last video that we had on the channel, which was drama in Fulton County. So thank you all for the likes and comments, and continue to share, continue to subscribe, and let YouTube and everyone else know that SPANNFLOWER is here, and I'm here for you all. Okay, all right, so thank you. Now, first up, we're going to be talking a little bit about the U.S. Supreme Court's decision about Donald Trump being on the ballot in Colorado. So they had oral hearings on February the 8th. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're also going to talk just a little bit about Joe Biden and the special prosecutor and what he said about him having the classified documents in his home and what his thoughts were about that. So we're going to dive into that a little bit too, and just a public opinion. And then with which would you prefer, we're going to have our two candidates in the middle again, talking about which one of these candidates would you prefer. So without further ado, let's get to it. First segment, just the facts. Now, on February the 8th, excuse me, the Supreme Court of the United States had heard oral arguments from Donald Trump's legal team, and the case is actually called Trump versus Anderson, and that's the name of the case. Yeah, Trump versus Anderson. So there's a group of the state of Colorado is trying to keep Donald Trump off of the ballot in Colorado. And so they have the Supreme Court hearing on February the 8th, in which the justices got a chance to hear both sides, both lawyers from each individual group arguing the case. Now, I have not, I've listened to some of the Supreme Court cases when they're available, but this was a highly significant matter because it's deciding, hey, look, how's the country going to go forward? Are we going to have states determining the federal elections based on what the states want? I mean, it's a lot to go into that. So this was a huge case, and I hope everyone paid attention to it. And so I got a chance to listen to the whole 2 hours and something of the actual question oral argument session, and it was very interesting and very illuminating. And those justices, they were asking questions, and the legal teams for both parties were trying to answer those questions. But if I had to say, we'll see how it's going to shake out. They haven't made their opinion yet, but I'm going to post who I think is going to win that argument in the comment section listed below this video. So let me just give a little recap, courtesy of CNN, about what happened in the court case. All right.
A position is upheld. Surely there will be disqualification proceedings on the other side, and some of those will succeed. Some of them will have different standards of proof. Some of them will have different rules about evidence. Maybe the Senate report won't be accepted in others because it's hearsay. Maybe it's beyond a reasonable doubt, whatever. In very quick order, I would expect, although my predictions have never been correct, I would expect that a goodly number of states will say, whoever the Democratic candidate is, you're off the ballot, and others, for the Republican candidate, you're off the ballot, and it'll come down to just a handful of states that are going to decide the presidential election. That's a pretty daunting consequence.
Well, certainly, Your Honor, the fact that there are potential frivolous applications of a constitutional provision isn't a reason.
Well, no, hold on. I mean, you might think they're frivolous, but probably the people who are bringing them may not think they're frivolous. Insurrection is a broad broad term. And if there's some debate about it, I suppose that will go into the decision, and then eventually what we would be deciding whether there was an insurrection when one president did something as opposed to when somebody else did something else. And what do we do? Do we wait until near the time of counting the ballots and sort of go through which states are valid and which states aren't?
There's a reason Section 3 has been dormant for 150 years, and it's because we haven't seen anything like January 6th since Reconstruction. Insurrection against the Constitution is something extraordinary.
It seems to me you're avoiding the question, which is other states may have different views about what constitutes insurrection. And now you're saying, well, it's all right because somebody, presumably us, are going to decide, well, they said they thought that was an insurrection, but they were wrong. And maybe they thought it was right. And we'd have to develop rules for what constitutes an insurrection.
Yes, Your Honor, just like this court interprets other constitutional provisions, this court can make clear that an insurrection against the Constitution is something extraordinary. And in particular, it really requires a concerted group effort to resist through violence, not some ordinary application of state or federal law.
So, what did you all think about what you heard? Chief Justice Roberts, who is the leading judge of the Supreme Court, asked very important questions. So did Elena Kagan. So did Neil Gorsuch. Really asked some really serious questions, and so did the Ketanji Brown. She asked questions as well. So it was very instructive, and I thought that it was very interesting myself that they were talking about the 14th Amendment, because as you know, that's the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments were, I don't like the word slave amendments, but they were amendments that were written during the time of Reconstruction and all of that, when they were trying to, after the Civil War and, that whole thing. So I'm going to put some information about that in the comment section, and I'm also going to put a link so that if you're interested in hearing the oral arguments that happened in the Supreme Court on February the 8th, I'll post that link in the channel, because you can get it from various news outlets. You CNN, you can get it from C-SPAN. I mean, all of the national syndicates were carrying that, and I thought that was very important. And so I'll tell you, as I said before, what I think is going to happen with that case in the comment section below. Anyway, so let me know what you think about it. Was it interesting? I mean, like, do you think Donald Trump should be on the ballot? He shouldn't be on the ballot. States do have the rights to say, hey, look, we don't want you. And then, so it's a big deal. So, post your comments in the comment section. Let me know. What do you think about it? Okay. So now we're moving on to our public opinion section, and we're going to talk about President Joe Biden, because this is the public opinion section of the video, because I don't have any kind of medical documentation or anything that says that Joe Biden is not fit for office. They haven't produced that yet. The closest thing they've come to producing that kind of document is the special prosecutor that was assigned, that's his name, was assigned to investigate whether Joe Biden, as a vice president or former senator, had documents in his possession that were classified. The same thing that they're trying Donald Trump on in Florida, where they sent the 15 armed men and investigators and drug out boxes and all of that. That's the same thing that they're dealing with Joe Biden. But the special prosecutor said that they were not going to charge him legally because he didn't feel that he was fit to stand for a trial. So here's a little taste of that, and you let me know what you think about that. Here we go.
The fact that they did not prosecute, they chose to not prosecute. First of all, they couldn't prosecute President Biden right now anyway. But the fact that they're not recommending prosecution, the fact that they did not prosecute, they chose to not prosecute. First of all, they couldn't prosecute President Biden right now anyway. But the fact that they're not recommending prosecution for when Biden leaves office, does that qualify as an exoneration?
Well, the good news for Joe Biden is there's no charges, and they don't recommend charges. The bad news is pretty much everything else for Joe Biden. Let's just run through real quick some of the findings that Robert Hur makes. First of all, Joe Biden retained classified documents. They were marked as classified. They were top secret. They were the highest level. They had to do with our foreign policy, our national security. Joe Biden knew it. He's on tape referring to the classified documents.
In 2017, yes.
In 2017, when he was out of office. And I think the most damning fact here is Joe Biden disclosed that information to his ghostwriter. That is really problematic. Now, let me just point this one thing out. Here's a sentence that Robert Hur writes on page 1 of his report. He says, President Biden willfully retained and disclosed classified materials after his vice presidency. Do you know what crime Donald Trump was charged with? Counts 1 through 32 of his Mar-a-Lago indictment.
Willful retention.
Willful retention of national defense information. It almost tracks word for word with what Robert Hur finds here. Now, the natural next question was, well, then why didn't Robert Hur recommend charges? As you say, you cannot charge under DOJ policy the sitting president. And the answer is, it's an exercise of prosecutorial discretion. Prosecutors are supposed to think about factors like, how will this play with the jury? Are there defenses? And that's where Hur talks in a way that's probably politically damaging about Joe Biden's age and his memory and his mental capacity.
Now, in my opinion, and this is why this is the public opinion section. All right, family, so you let me know what you all think. Do you think that Joe Biden is prepared to stand for a trial? Do you think that this is something that, not even stand for a trial, but if he's not fit to stand for trial, is he fit to be running the country? And that is what a lot of people are saying at this point. Of course, he has his supporters and he has his detractors. However, you know, the special counsel took the time to put that in writing in a report. So what's happening here? And if he's not capable, who is actually running the country? Okay, I've been asking this question for a long time. If he's not cognitively capable of running the country, based on what the special report said, that's why I didn't put it in just the facts, because we don't have any kind of documentation from any kind of medical facility saying that he's not capable of running the country. You know, people are giving their opinions on it, but again, I don't know. Hey, you post in the channel, let me know what you think. Do you think that President Joe Biden is capable of running the country at this time? Or do you feel that the eye test that we see when we're engaging with him or seeing him on television or various news outlets is what it is, you know? So let me know what you think about that. Post your comments to the comment section. Now, for our last segment, hear me, people. I've been asking this question so many times. Which would you prefer? President Donald Trump or former President Donald Trump and current President Joe Biden? Okay, I keep asking this question because I want to know. Listen, what you all think about this, man? We have two older, seasoned people running for office I don't know. What do you all think? Do you think that they're too old? You think they're too young? You think Trump is vibrant? You think Biden can do the job? I mean, post your comments and let me know what you think about our potential presidential candidates for the office for the vote that's gonna happen in November 2024. So, hey, post the comments to the comment section. Let me know. Okay. Now, we do have some special programming on the channel today, so it will be a subsequent video from this video, because I will be treading lightly, I guess I'd say, on the subject matter of all of the liberal ladies that are having a hard time right now because they wanted their name in lights and it didn't happen. So stay tuned for that video as well. All right. Thank you so much for taking some time with me today. That's all I have right now. So if you like these videos, post a comment to the comment section. Let me know. Okay? All right. SPANNFLOWER out.